Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I was cleaning my room today and I found a bunch of stuff that I thought would be fun to share with you guys. Yeah. I still don't know how to not be awkward on video or in real life. Yeah, we're just gonna get into that. So one of the first things that I found was actually this box. It's the box that contained the first gift that my fiance gave me when we first started dating. I was really into space and I was really into the moon, but moon rocks were really expensive, so he got me an asteroid rock ring, and I actually liked it so much that I got my nails done inspired by the ring. So it's kind of like a space inspired nail look. The next thing that I found was this painting that my little sister made. She's 4 years old and she really likes watercolors and painting. So she made this painting and it's just, I really like the color and the vibrancy, and I just like that it's kind of more like simple lines and I could hang it up anywhere in a room if I wanted to. And it's just something that reminds me of her when I miss her, and I do miss her a lot. The next thing I found was this photo album. It actually has a lot of my memories in it. So in 2011, I went to New York for a wedding, and that's what this first page is for. So it was like my first time riding on a plane in a long time and for a long period of time, because I was flying from California on the West Coast all the way to New York on the opposite coast. I was 16 years old and we didn't stay at a hotel, we stayed in an apartment. So it was cool pretending that I lived there and taking the subway into the city and just doing all these kinds of things that I had never done before. Aside from everything being so expensive there, I really did like New York for the time being that I was there. And I always, for some reason, thought people in New York were really mean. I just guess I watched something on TV that made me think that. But when I was on the subway, my Metro card, or trying to get into the subway, my Metro card didn't work. It was demagnetized or something, and someone just slid their card instead, like one of the locals, and that totally changed my portrayal of people from New York. And I don't know why I would even generalize in that way just based on something that I saw on TV anyway. But yeah, New York was fun. I did appreciate being able to fly out there and see a different kind of lifestyle from the one that I'm used to. So I went to that wedding because that's the whole reason that I went out there. And I also went on to Amtrak, which was the first time I ever took Amtrak. And I saw Niagara Falls, which was so amazing. And you always see pictures of places and they're not as magnificent, and then when you go there, it's absolutely breathtaking, and there are no words to describe it, and no pictures can do it justice. That was my Niagara Falls experience. And then on the right side here, we have my first baseball game. An A's game is pretty uneventful, but it was still my first baseball game. And then my first tattoo, and I actually got this when I was 16 as well. I got it when in Reno, because that's the only place that you can legally do it when you're underage, as long as you have your parents' consent. I was gonna get this huge jellyfish on my lower arm, but I couldn't get it anywhere visible because that was against their policy. So I just ended up getting 3 geese on my shoulder blade, but we'll talk about my tattoos in a different video. And then on the top here is my first concert ticket. I'm not even embarrassed that it's a Jonas Brothers concert, because my cousin also went, and I was like 12, and my cousin also went, and he's like a few years older than I am. I'm not even embarrassed because they were super popular at the time, and my parents paid for the tickets, and my sister went and my parents were there, and it was like a really fun time, and it was something nice that we had never done before. I mean, I'm kind of embarrassed, but not super embarrassed, because I shouldn't even care, because that's just what I liked at the time. And then here, this was the first time I was admitted to a hospital that I could remember. I was having what felt like really bad heart palpitations, but I think it's just because I had been eating a lot of pork or something, and it was making I don't know, I forget what it was called, but it was like a medical term where your throat contracts or your esophagus contracts esophageal spasms. I was having esophageal spasms for some reason. And then on the right, when I was in college, I was part of this Filipino club, and I went to LA to this thing called Friendship Games, and that was my first time going to a club and my first time actually being in LA aside from going to Disneyland when I was younger. But that was fun. It was a cool experience, and I just did that, as an extracurricular. I was actually the freshman rep for this Filipino club, and I was really active in the beginning, and then after the first year, or maybe even the first semester, I stopped participating. I don't know why. I just guess I was really bad at being responsible and being having a commitment. But obviously, since that was when I was 19 and it's been 3 years, I'm a lot better at being a responsible adult, because I am technically an adult now. And then on the left page here is the first time I took Muni. And then I have on the right hand, I have a exploratorium ticket, and then I have a few pictures of my mom, my dad, and my sister. And then I have a nice little note that my mom wrote me when I was 16 at 3 a.m. in the morning, apparently, of her just saying some nice stuff. And I've kept it for a long time, because when I was 16, that was a really big year for me, because 2011 I keep mentioning, but I was severely depressed, or coming out of a severe depression. But yeah, little notes like that my mom would leave for me, because she just knew how hard of a time I was having for whatever reason. And then here's a picture that I'm trying to get out of my mom, my dad, and my sister. This was actually the 4th of July a couple years back, and my sister is that little pink blob on the top that's sitting on top of the car, and my dad is right next to her, and then my mom is the one that looks like a purple yam. I love my family so much. They're so important to me, and it's kind of hard being away from them. They've always been super supportive of everything I've done. For example, I just moved to the South, somewhere I've never been before, and it's far away from them, but they understand and they support me, because they know it's going to be a new start for me and a fresh start for myself and my fiance, to just go somewhere where it's a lot slower paced and a lot cheaper to be living and a lot cheaper to get a house. I mean, obviously, they get on my nerves sometimes, but I love them all, especially my sisters. I did mention that my sister was 4 years old, and this is an older picture of the both of us. And as you can see, there's a huge age gap, and people used to think that she was my baby just because I took care of her that much. And I just love her so much, and these pictures make me so happy. And on the right side, I have a goodbye letter from my roommate in college. On my second year, I did dorm, but when I left, she wrote me a letter saying how much she appreciated having me as a roommate. Probably the best memory I have of her is when we were taking a study break, and we were both dancing around to one of Gwen Stefani's early 2000 albums, and we were just I think it was probably Harajuku Girls, and we were just dancing around the room and singing, and we were on the top floor, and it was probably really late at night because we were studying, and we were just dancing around, and we had music really loud, but it was fun. So when I moved out here to Alabama, I actually had to take 2 planes. I took one big plane from San Francisco, and then when I got closer, when I got to Chicago, I took a really small plane, probably the smallest plane I've ever been on, out to Huntsville. So that's what those tickets on the left hand side are. Then on the right side here is actually a goodbye letter or card from my sister / birthday card, because I left the day after my 22nd birthday. And she also gave me a notebook to go with this card. It was actually a really sweet, like, thoughtful gift. She also gave me pens, stamps, and chocolate so that we could write each other letters. It's honestly like the sweetest and most thoughtful gift I've had from her, probably. We haven't really written anything to each other. I probably sent her one letter since I got here, but we FaceTime at least 2 or 3 times a week, and I've only been here for less than a month. Okay, so this picture is actually the Christmas company picture when I was working at Tapioca Express, one of my first part-time jobs, and I'm the one with the really short hair covering my face because I just don't want to take pictures and I don't like taking pictures. And then on the right side, I have more pictures of myself and my sisters. And then the first one here, the one with the white dress, is of my sister at her graduation, and I was so proud. And then that's my mom and my sister, and then that's me, my sisters. And then I'm just gonna take out the ones that I like the best here. So I have a few pictures. I have one, let's see, this one is actually from my 20th birthday. I can't believe it's been 2 years since then. But that's my 20th birthday. And then this one's from the inside of my dorm when my sisters came to visit. And then this one is from my sister's graduation, and I was so proud of her because she actually finished as the salutatorian or valedictorian. I don't know. She was pretty up there, and she also performed at her graduation, and she got a scholarship, and now she's going to community college, which is so awesome because, you know, she's kind of paying for her own college now. And I'm just really proud of her, and she's just doing a lot better than I did. But yeah, that's what's in this book. Then I also found a whole bunch of other pictures of my sisters. There's some pictures of my 4-year-old sister here, and this one is one of my very favorite pictures. It's actually a picture of my mom and my baby sister. And then I found these pictures of my trip to Monterey with my fiance. And this one's really worn out because I actually had it in my car for a while and he had it in his car for a while. So it's actually faded from the sun, but we both look really happy, I think. And then I usually like to take more candid pictures where he's not paying attention because otherwise he won't smile, except for this picture. This is probably one of my most favorite pictures of him because it's like one of the only times he smiled when I asked him to. The only other time he smiles in a picture is if he caught a fish and I like take the picture of him after he's caught the fish. And then the last thing that I found was this picture. It's honestly my most favorite picture of my younger sister, not the baby sister, but the middle child. She's actually smiling in this picture. And I don't know, this is usually how I remember my sister. I remember her as being so nice and so kind. Like she has that, I guess, mean side to her, and she can be really bitter, but this picture really embodies her in the way that I've always remembered her and always thought of her. I'm like, she gets on my nerves, but this is my favorite picture of her because I think she's like 8 years old in this picture, and she just looks so pure and so happy. I don't really get to see her this happy anymore for whatever reason. So that pretty much wraps it up for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end. If you get a chance, go ahead and check out one of my cousin's channels. There's definitely something for everyone. And if you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe. I'm really glad you watched all the way to the end. I really appreciate it. And I know this is a lot longer than most of the other videos I've made, but I thought I'd try and challenge myself. I do apologize if the audio and the visual don't match up at times. I just was really lazy to go back in and edit everything so that it was a smooth transition. But I will next time. So until then, stay tuned for more.